But he doesn't have the execution at the end of leg 1. Does he get another shot?
10.
Just so happens that he does.
Connie require 40.
It's a week where missed opportunities will be pounced upon, you feel. And there is a first example of it. Connor Scutt was second best in that opening leg, but he's taken it nonetheless. He's up and running at this Champions Week.
Moves are a good thing. It's a good recovery. And another dart at double gives him a level game. So getting to the outer ring in this match has not been a problem for Marvin.
Playing this week have done well on tours where if you don't win a certain event, there's another one coming. We're going to see what they're like when this means everything. This means more than anything else. And that there is no second chances. And that there's no going back.
There are two different ways of looking at that, though. This does mean more than anything else to some players this week. This is something people desperately want to add to their collection. That makes this just a little bit different for someone like Duff or West. And that is a perfect save from Connor Scutt at exactly the right time.
The maximum followed by the 1, 2, 4. And that is just a taste of the quality and class that Connor Scutt possesses.
To this 156.
156.
For an early statement. Oh, not now. We talked about it earlier in the match. That was just a really unfortunate deflection.
60.
Well, it's been an opening game which at times has been marred by nerves. But it is Marvin van Velzen who's the victor. And that little cry, that little let out of emotion tells you that he is the first player to win a game at Champions Week. And salute down the barrel of the camera. Well, Duff has taken the darts here in leg 5 and is 6 darts potentially away from picking up his first win of the week in his opening game of the week. And he's left himself on a 2-darter after 12 to do exactly that.
Thomas is being particularly stubborn on that treble 20 when he could have used switch shots. But Duff needs tops. And takes his first win of Champions Week by 3 legs. It wasn't a classic by any means, but Duff, who always finds a way. That's that line that constantly follows him. Doesn't matter whether it's 105 average, whether it's 78, 82, something like that. He can find a way because he's got so much experience in the locker. So he gets his first 2 points. Who are we going to be saying that about after the next game, which is the final round of round 1, the final game of round 1? That's Tom Sykes up against Jimmy van Schie. Champions Week.
167.
And he's on the 167. Oh, yeah. We love that. And he's on the rampage himself in a comeback trail is Jimmy van Schie. Round 1 is really starting to deliver.
Mark of a previous dart from Tom Sykes.
And now he might be involved in a one-leg shootout to take the points. Van Schie is very hard to dispose of, but you can't miss singles. At least you shouldn't.
Double 16 does not go, and that could be that. It was a spirited fight back from Jimmy van Schie, but Tom Sykes steps up to the hockey for double 8. Dart 2 for win number 1 of the week.
Tom Sykes.
And the former finalist, Tom Sykes, is up and running at Champions Week. He gets the better of Jimmy van Schie by 4 legs to 2, putting in the performance of the opening round. An average in excess of 95, 4 out of 10 on the doubles. He got off to a quick start. He won the first 2 legs in the space of 29 darts. He had to stave off the Van Schie revival with a couple of ton-plus checkouts, but he crosses the line for 2. And so the first round's worth of fixtures have been and gone. Coming up after the break, we're going to watch Marvin van Velzen and Thomas Banks go toe-to-toe.
If they've got tickets for Saturday night, because if they don't, they're not coming.
Double 7, that's an added bonus.
Game shot
And that's a
the
superb
first
find. That's a 12
Marvin van
darter
Velzen.
for Marvin van Velzen to kickstart this match.
Thomas, you require 105.
But let's press pause on that for now, as Banks tries to equalise, which is something
85.
he can't do at that
Only
visit.
require 40.
Double top to double up his tally of wins in this Champions Week.
Game
2
shot
from
and
2
a
for
match.
Marvin van Velzen.
Marvin
He
van
is
Velzen.
up and running at this Champions Week. A 4-2 success against Thomas Banks, an average of 92.5. 6 in that particular order of merit, although there hasn't been a meeting between that pair on that particular tour
140.
this year, which perhaps is a surprise when you consider the success that both have had.
180.
Somebody is starting to put something together. I'm actually talking about them both.
140.
These are two players who have not won yet today, and they're playing as if they refuse to be denied in this second round of matches.
105. Jimmy, you require 161.
This would be something else. And now it's impossible. Scutt has options on 116.
65. Connie, you require 116.
He's got a blocker, but that's a great find with dart too. Tops.
76.
He had maybe
Jimmy, you require
20% of that
96.
treble 19 bed to find. And he found it. What a dart that was. Arguably the best of the day so far. However, he
Game
missed the
shot
double
the
and Jimmy
third
doesn't.
leg. Jimmy van Schie, 90.
Double 15. Again, he goes to the right-hand side of the oche.
60.
With no success this time, and Van Schie could take us the distance in Game 5.
Jimmy, you require 28.
Leaving himself on a double after 12 against the darts. And Van Schie is going to get his opportunity to take us all the way. But it's down to double 7 to take us to leg 7.
Game
Last
shot
dive
the
hand
sixth leg.
into the bottom
Jimmy
corner.
van
And we
Schie.
go the distance once again.
Hit this, he could lose with an average in excess of 104.
57.
And this proves
Jimmy, you
just
require
how
52.
valuable it can be to have the darts in the last leg.
Double 16. To complete the
Game
comeback win, a
shot and
superb
a
fight back
match.
for Jimmy van
Jimmy van
Schie
Schie.
to get the better of Connor Scutt, for whom back-to-back 4-3 defeats leaves the favourite to win Champions Week on the back foot on day 1. The game of the week so far, without any shadow of a doubt. Jimmy van Schie today really has come to the party. He's got his first win with an average of 98.31. Connor Scutt losing despite averaging in excess of 102. Coming up after the break, Neil Duff and Tom Sykes will be looking to follow up what has been a superb game here at the Live Lounge.
We
Seal
require
with a 136 checkout right here, right now.
My word, that is a good deflection. That was not going in the treble 20 unless it hit the previous flight. And it has now given him the chance to win this match 4-0. And to register our first bagel of Champions Week.
51.
Well, Connor Scutt averaged in excess of a ton in the previous match, but lost. Duff here averaging 101. Gets the job done and sends a statement out to the field. 100.2, 60 darts is all it took for Neil Duff to demolish Tom Sykes by 4-0. It's the first whitewash win of Champions Week. That the tail of the tape in every single department. Neil Duff was up to the task there. He's up to the task this week. It's 2 wins from 2 for the former WDF World Champion. Coming up after the break, it's Marvin van Velzen up against Jimmy van Schie in an all-Dutch battle.
I've never likened the game of darts to a game of pick-up sticks. But this is a pick-up chance.
Game shot in the second
And maybe
leg.
just what Marvin needed to get
Marvin
into
van
this game,
Velzen.
because up until that point, he'd thrown very little. Maybe on a Monday morning, they're just feeling each other out.
Treble 8 leads tops. That's superb. That is Marvin Van Velzen's third ton plus checkout of the day. His second of this match.
At all. And that impresses not just me and you, Henry, but that will impress everyone.
140. How many require?
It was a game
40.
that had its ebbs and flows, but it's Van Velzen who looks at tops. Well, he's going to have to find double 15 now, and he does find double 15, and it is a hat-trick of wins for Marvin Van Velzen.
Ideally, he wants 60, 10 and tops. That'll do. That will very much do. And at the minute, Sykes is thinking, what have I got to do to get rid of this young man?
Sit back, it's Tom Sykes to throw first. Game on.
That was a very Michael Smith thing to do on 110.
Whoa,
Well, there you go. There's number
180.
6. One more to equal the record.
140.
And the record in a game between both players is 9. And Banks, who's already had a 110 in this contest, is looking to win it with the ton checkout. Was looking at tops, doesn't
60.
take.
Tommy
And so
requires
Sykes,
60.
to win a thriller, is looking at 60.
We go to the limit for the first match start. Double 10. That may just be the most important dart of Tom Sykes' day. Because after everything he threw at Thomas Banks, he was thinking, I'm not sure I'm going to get an opportunity here. Is it 15s? Is it bull? Is it something else? It's something else.
It's double 5. And that
No
is
score.
wide, and that is wild.
Connor,
And
you
this is
require
probably the
60.
first time today that Connor Scutt's had a let-off. But now he's missing the big numbers and big targets. Tops
Game
gets
shot
there in the
further.
end, but he had to make
Connor
hard work
Scutt.
of it.
Needs to get his first win.
96.
Goes double. Tops for the match, tops for the win. And Connor Scutt is
Connor
eventually
Scutt.
on the board. The sniper, who was the bookmaker's favourite to win Champions Week, is up and running. It isn't as clear cut as it has been in the past. The previous Champions Week was all about Bo Greaves. In the past, it's all been about Luke Littler. And then we had the Chris Mason show in the first Champions Week after he won week 12.
105. Thomas, you require 104.
Which means this is probably one of the most even Champions Weeks.
Game
And we
shot
have
the sixth
another
leg.
game to go, 7
Thomas
legs.
Banks.
Courtesy of that ton plus checkout from Thomas. Gutsy
Seventh
move.
and final leg is Jimmy to throw first.
Jimmy might not come up short.
No score.
But has come up short there. Luckily for him, Banks isn't on the scene, but he may well be in a couple of moments' time.
57. Jimmy, you require 28.
His second win of the day, and to keep Thomas Banks have had to win. Double 7 to win leg 7. And Van Schie is over the line. He gets the better
Jimmy
of
Van
Thomas
Schie.
Banks, for whom 4 games played, 4 defeats. It's been a heavy weathered first day for the young man from Hertfordshire. Velzen looking to take out the 116. He's going to get a dart at double 18 to do exactly that, and he will
Shot
find,
the
and he will
second
fire
leg.
his 4
Marvin Van
ton
Velzen.
plus checkout of the day.
Two double 18s is not going to be found.
40. Neil, you require
And this proves
5.
that darts is not all about 170 finishes and 156s. Sometimes it's about checkouts like 5.
Picking up on the scraps. Picking up the points. You bet. And Neil Duff moves to the top of the
Neil
table. He
Duff.
inflicts a first defeat upon Marvin Van Velzen on this Champions Week Monday. Duff over the line, a 4-1 winner. Picking up on opportunities missed by his opponent. Both players in the end missing 10 darts at a double, but it was Duff who found those 4 winning darts at a double. A 4-1 victor against Marvin Van Velzen coming up after the break. This could be quick, this could be ferocious, this could be furious as Tom Sykes takes on Connor Scutt. But Tom Sykes looking for the champagne shot. Another one of them, or does he decide to move along? He moved along to treble 14.
124.
Tom Sykes is averaging 108, but he could be pegged back to 2-2 if Scutt can find the 120. Tops. Oh, that's absolutely magnificent.
Connor Scutt.
The sniper has reeled Tom Sykes in, and despite an average of 108...
With a 12-dart leg.
Connor Scutt.
You can separate their averages by less than a point. This is a great darting fixture. And it could be very useful. That's pretty useful.
180.
How has he found his way to a finish first? My word. And as soon as he hits, Sykes hits back.
70. Connie Rick 144.
But is this going to be the knockout punch from Connor Scutt? Another one of them. Would have left double 12. Well, this has been a Champions Week
60.
classic. Double 4 means we've got more drama.
I didn't think he was going to miss that.
Connie require.
And I don't think Connor thought he was coming back. He doesn't miss. What a game that was. Both averaged around the 100 mark. And the only thing that could have given us an even better game than we had after 6 legs was even more small misses at the end. They came from Sykes, and Scutt has found his way to 4 points.
Left himself on tops after 12. This is for the match and for 6 points in the group, which would put him into second place temporarily.
Bulls covered. But Jimmy, this is to finish your day. Are you saving your best dart for last?
Miracle! Incredible! An incredible from Jimmy Van Schie. Probably the one thing Thomas Banks will look back on and think, in terms of today, is that it's been a little bit all or nothing at points.
100.
Scutt wanted more than that. Maybe he was put out of rhythm by dropping the dart on the floor.
43.
But he has gotten away with it.
44.
Took Connor Scutt a game or so to really get going, but at points he has put in some superb stuff. Lost of an average of 102. He's had another ton plus average in there. And he's going to come back for 64. For a 4-1 win, which will see him top the table at the end of the opening day potentially. It'll put him there temporarily as double 8 is found, and Connor Scutt has rediscovered his radar. The sniper swoops to the top of the table temporarily. Following a slow start, losing his first 2 games, he's recovered by winning his last 3. And he is very much in the picture. Is the bookmaker's favourite to go on and win this Champions Week. Scutt 4, Banks 1, courtesy of an average just under 97. 4 from 5 when it came to his doubles. Coming up after the break, Marvin van Velzen has the opportunity to be the outright leader of the group if he gets a better with Tom Sykes. However, a win for Sykes would ensure that the top 5 players in this group would end the opening day on 6 points.
That Tom actually does find 2.
144.
He's looking to finish his day in the same way that Jimmy Van Schie did. Oh, what a shot from Marvin van Velzen. Tom Sykes is left bereft at losing that one by 4 legs to 2. But the Dutch have had their say today. Jimmy Van Schie ended with a 1-3-2 with an almost impossible bullseye. And Van Velzen has saved one of his best shots of the entire day for his last 3 darts. A 93 average and a wonderful ending gives him the lead after day 1 in Champions Week. He will sit on 8 points and Tom Sykes will have to settle for 4 as he stays in 5th.
So day one done at Champions Week, our 8th Champions Week here at the Modus Super Series. Paul, it didn't disappoint. Probably one player, though, that is disappointed.
Yeah, I think Thomas is going to be really disappointed being at the foot of the table. I think it'll be an interesting few hours for him to just decongest and think about what's gone on today, what he's done wrong, what he can improve. And I think even Tom Sykes will be disappointed with 4 points, but still in the running. It's early days for him, but there are going to be a lot of other people on the table who are a lot better off.
Yeah, there we go. We've got the negatives out of the way. The positives coming next. So the biggest one, of course, is for Marvin van Velzen, who's won 4 out of his 5 matches. He's top of the table and is talking to Henry.
Marvin, great first day. 4 wins from 5. What will be your overall assessment?
Yeah, I'm happy that I get over the line 4 out of 5. And I think it's pure match play and mentality that I'm just walking in at the beginning of the day just with a big smile and always also ending with it.
In terms of the wins that you got today, did it feel like different types of victories? You had some good performances there, and there was times where you really had to dig in.
Yeah, but I know it's Champions Week, so it's gonna be difficult to win games, and if you take 4 out of 5 over the line, then you just gotta be happy. But I think tomorrow is gonna be the same kind of game that I played today, but then I have to play better on the breaks on the games.
First time at a Champions Week, what feels different this time maybe compared to a normal regulation week?
To be honest, nothing, but only it's to be honest a bit tense in the back room, but for me it's like to be honest, I feel home when I go back in the practice room and just smiling, just singing a bit, and just prepare good, and then when the game is on, just be ready.
Would it be fair to say that you're the type of player that when it's a big match, there's a lot at stake and you can really get your teeth stuck into it? That's kind of you at your best. That's when you enjoy it the most. Yeah,
if I'm teased, I could play better, but if I'm enjoying a game, that would be helpful also. This could be two type of games, or I have to be very focused and I knew that I have to play very good, or I know that I have to be very happy and just enjoy the game.
And going into tomorrow, how important is it to try and keep going on? Because as you know, that group is full of big sharks in the tank.
Yes, to be honest, it's still a Tuesday. I get in this Group A like it's a practice, and if you win Group A, it's a big advantage. But if you tomorrow just win 2 games out of 5, then you have to play good on Wednesday. Wednesday decision day is D-Day, so and tomorrow just dig on the first place.
Well, it's a great start. Well done, Marvin. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, certainly is a great start for Marvin van Velzen. We'll talk about last match as well, Paul. That 1-4-4, absolutely sensational from the Dutchman. Yeah,
just a little bit. I think if he's having a bit of dinner with Jimmy van Schie later and digressing about what's happened today, they're both going to be weighing up, well, who had the better finish at the end? Because there's no better feeling than finishing a daily campaign, or indeed a tournament that you've won, with something quite special. And that 144 was brilliant to get the job done, to make this message so bold ahead of his game with Tom Sykes in the first game tomorrow. Remember that 144 that I hit? I'm going to do it again. It's a great statement shot. And Jimmy's got exactly the same when he plays Neil Duff tomorrow.
On the subject of finishing, the end of that game between Scutt and Sykes, we saw the opposite problem there, didn't we? The opportunity was there for Tom, but he couldn't get over the line.
Yeah, he's had a few nasty deflections today, but that dart at double 13, we've seen that maybe 2 or 3 times today where it just loses momentum in the air and it just flops. So that dart cannot come back. I know how hard Tom works. He will try to put it right over the next, say, 12 hours or so. Minimal practice, I would say, between now and tomorrow, but maybe if you need 30 minutes just to refresh some good stuff, that's probably the right thing to do. But make sure that the rest is good and then come back tomorrow morning at around 7:45 and put it right.
And you mentioned it, we have to show it again. Jimmy Van Schie with this incredible bullseye finish for the 1-3-2. And you can see how much it's blocked there. Probably he's the only man, isn't he? It's the only shot that Jimmy can see.
Yeah, that's fair because he's very tall and he can see over the top of the barrel and the stem, but the flight is out the way. The flight is not a part of it. If it was, he would have hit it. He didn't hit the left wing of the flight, but he chose the right angle. Some people may have gone to the right-hand side to try and follow the...
Phil Taylor famously.
Absolutely. That made the Phil Taylor bull harder. What he's done is he's made it easier for himself by opening up the bed. If he flicks the barrel, it goes in. He flicks the stem, it goes in. Flicks the flight, it doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant finish. It looks like it's going to be a brilliant finish to this group where you're not even halfway through yet. But if you look at the table, Marvin van Velzen on 8 points, then 3 players on 6. Tom Sykes will still feel he's got that day in him, maybe tomorrow, to win 4 or 5 matches, and he's back in it. But Thomas Banks, realistically, is going to need to have 2 perfect days and then still is hoping for favours. What advice would you give to him, the 17-year-old? He's had a real welcome to the big boys club at Champions Week, hasn't he?
Yeah, welcome to the best that we can offer, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. At worst, he's going to Group C, which is something he's won prior to getting here, so no big deal. But go out there and cause chaos. Cause problems for everybody else, and don't focus too much on what's happening with you. Go out and revel in the fact that the other guys have now got the pressure.
Just finally, I think you made a really fair point in comms earlier on when you said this is one of the most sort of even Champions Weeks, no real standout star attraction. Have you seen anything from anyone that catapults them to becoming that so far?
Not yet. We've seen flashes of brilliance from Marvin, from Jimmy, from Sykes, especially when he hits 6 maximums in a match, which could have been more. But the story has got a few dots after it so far, after a couple of sentences. So we're waiting to see if Tuesday can deliver a little bit more for the story. But this week, we don't have a Bo Greaves here. We don't have a Luke Littler here. We don't have a Raymond Smith here because he was the biggest story of Series 2. So when it comes down to Series 8, it being all very, very open is very good for tomorrow.
Certainly is. We will have you here tomorrow. We hope to have you here tomorrow as well as the second day of Champions Week gets underway. Could be a really significant day to see who is going to make it through to finals night from Group A. And at the end of this week, there will be another name on the Modus Super Series Roll of Honour.